here. Let's watch this.
This is probably one of the most empowering things that I have done ever. You can be beautiful, but you can also be strong.
We show what it is to sacrifice, what it is to work hard to achieve your dream.
I truly do think, like, go kick ass out on the court, and then go kick ass out in the real world, being a woman who is strong, who is powerful, and who has the mindset that she can do anything.
Sophie Cunningham set social media ablaze once again at exactly 9 a.m. on January 7th, 2025. The announcement for the Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition 2026 dropped, and within just 12 hours Sophie managed to break the internet for the second time in only 2 days. But what truly makes this moment remarkable is the bigger picture. While her WNBA contract situation is still unresolved, Cunningham is already building a powerful personal brand. During the off-season on January 6th, the Indiana Fever extended a core qualifying offer, giving
joining USA basketball for its covering the games. Now, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, I highly recommend you guys make sure you are subscribed. Make sure your bells is on so you get up to date with real Fever news. I'm done with the speculation drafts. Done with the speculation players that's coming. We ain't doing none of that. We're getting right to what is currently happening with this team. Now, we know this came out yesterday. Sophie Cunningham to be a contributor for USA Network Basketball during this whole WNBA season, right? So that was the
contract. Yet Sophie isn't sitting around waiting for decisions to be made. Instead, she's moving forward, expanding her influence, growing her brand, and proving that her impact goes far beyond the basketball court. 2. Let's rewind 24 hours. On January 6th, USA Network Basketball announced Sophie Cunningham as a contributor for their WNBA coverage throughout the 2025 season. It marks her first major media role, working as an analyst, on-camera personality, and basketball commentator. Then less than 12 hours later, the Sports Illustrated announcement dropped 2 major brand moves in a single day. And suddenly everyone started asking the same question: is Sophie Cunningham preparing for life after basketball, or is she simply maximizing her market value while the Fever decide what they're willing to pay? Because here's the key context: the Fever haven't made any public statement.
Play there. This is the post that Sophie Cunningham, Sports Illustrated, right? Swimsuit Edition 2026. Now, she's not the only one, but I find this to be very profound for Sophie Cunningham. You want to know why this is profound? Because she's branding, which means that she could be making moves for off the court after basketball. Sophie Cunningham is making big time moves. All of this news is coming out with
buying offer, which is standard procedure, but it doesn't guarantee anything. They could match. Outside offers allow her to leave or negotiate a more team-friendly deal. Right now, no one knows for sure, and judging by Sophie's moves this week, she's clearly not sitting around worried about it. 3. Now take a closer look at the actual details of that Sports Illustrated announcement. Sophie is in Fort Myers alongside Nafisa Collier and sprinter Melissa Jefferson, 3 elite athletes performing at the highest level in their respective sports, all building brands that reach far beyond their main careers. And listen carefully to what Sophie says in that clip. This is probably one of the most empowering things I have ever.
Girl, I just dropped my phone. Wow, Lexi Hall. Oh, hi. Look, who else? Michaela Timpson in there. Just passed out. Yes, Sophie Cunningham has broken the damn internet again. So everybody's speculating about her contract. Everybody's speculating about different things regarding Sophie. Sophie don't give a damn. She ain't bothered.
Fun or exciting experiences, she said. Empowering, that choice of words matters. She's talking about owning her narrative, about being recognized as both strong and beautiful. At the same time, she's sending a message to young women that you can dominate on the court and still succeed in entirely different arenas. This isn't just a simple modeling opportunity. It's a deliberate move to strengthen and expand her personal brand. 4. And the reaction tells you everything about where Sophie stands in the WNBA landscape right now. Chloe Peterson joked about dropping her phone, and Michaela Thompson practically passed out in the comments. These aren't just random fans, these are people connected to the WNBA world reacting as if Sophie just announced the launch.
Showing major love. This video came out on the 6th, which was about 2 days ago. Everybody mixed it, but this speaks volumes. Sophie Cunningham just living life, bro. At this point, Sophie Cunningham is just living life. I ain't lying, dog. I ain't lying. And I can't be nothing but happy for Sophie, bro. She's getting to the bag by any means necessary. And yeah, bro. Let's see here. Has any more? Look, Lexi been working, bro.
Let's think about what she's accomplished in just 48 hours. She secured a broadcasting role with USA Network, guaranteeing steady income during the season regardless of her playing contract. She landed a Sports Illustrated feature boosting her visibility in mainstream sports media far beyond basketball audiences, and she managed to do all of this while the Fever are still deciding their roster plans. That's not desperation, that's leverage. 5. Now take a look at Lexi Hall's training video from January 6. She's in the gym working on her handles, clearly locked in and preparing for the 2025 season, and that's the contrast worth paying attention to. Lexi is grinding in pure preparation mode while Sophie is building a multimedia brand. Both approaches are completely valid during the off-season, but they reveal very different mindsets about what the future might hold. Lexi Hall is a player who understands her role. She's focused on developing her game, improving weaknesses, and getting ready to contribute when the season begins. Sophie Cunningham, on the other hand, seems to understand a bigger reality about the league. That WNBA salaries for most veterans typically top out around $200,000.
There's going to be some upsets today.
She's
Dialed in, baby.
Yeah, man. So definitely let me know y'all thoughts in the comments section, man, about Sophie Cunningham. Make sure y'all keep them bills on. Once again, guys.
So let's break down what all of this actually means for the Fever's roster situation. The team has until February 1st to finalize its core designations and restricted free agency decisions. Sophie's qualifying offer gives the Fever the right to match any outside contract she receives, but here's where the leverage shifts. If Sophie enters negotiations with a USA Network broadcasting role and a Sports Illustrated feature already secured, she isn't a player desperately fighting for a roster spot. She's a player with real options, and that completely changes the tone of contract talks. Indiana can't simply offer a low deal and assume she'll accept it out of necessity. Sophie has already diversified her income streams and started building the kind of post-basketball career that many WNBA players don't even think about until after retirement. What makes Sophie Cunningham's situation especially interesting within the 2025 WNBA landscape is the timing. The league is experiencing massive growth in viewership and overall interest, but that growth hasn't fully translated into player salaries yet. The new collective bargaining agreement won't take effect until 2026, which leaves players like Sophie in a strange transition period. Their popularity and market value are increasing rapidly, but their official salaries are still tied to an older economic structure. Just look at the numbers from 2024. The Fever averaged around 118 million viewers per game on traditional television, not even counting streaming audiences. Caitlin Clark's debut attracted about 21 million viewers on ESPN. A playoff matchup against Connecticut drew roughly 18 million viewers on ABC. Those are legitimate mainstream sports numbers, yet the salary cap for the 2025 WNBA season remains about $1.46 million per team, meaning an entire 12-player roster splits less than $1.5 million. Sophie Cunningham clearly understands that math. Instead of waiting for the league to adjust its compensation model, she's creating her own structure through media opportunities and brand partnerships. Now consider what the USA Network role actually represents. This isn't just Sophie appearing as a guest analyst a few times during the season. USA Network, part of NBC's sports network ecosystem, is investing heavily in WNBA coverage for 2025. They need credible voices who understand the game, maintain relationships with current players, and can offer insights casual fans won't hear anywhere else. Sophie checks every one of those boxes. The smartest part is that this role does more than generate extra income. It builds her post-playing career in real time. Many WNBA athletes retire and then scramble to figure out what their next step will be. Sophie is establishing that future while she's still active. By the time she eventually retires, she won't be starting from scratch. She'll already have network relationships, experience as an on-camera personality, and a brand that exists beyond basketball. The Sports Illustrated feature only amplifies that momentum. The swimsuit edition isn't just a modeling opportunity, it's a cultural platform that reaches far beyond sports audiences. Nneka Collier appearing alongside Sophie matters because Collier is one of the recognizable faces of the WNBA. Being included in that space places Sophie in a much broader mainstream spotlight, but this also creates an interesting question for the Fever's front office. If Sophie is building a strong off-court presence, does that make her more valuable to The team or less on one side, a player with mainstream recognition brings attention and publicity to the franchise, media appearances and brand deals indirectly promote the team itself. On the other side, teams always worry about focus. Indiana wants players fully locked in for a championship push in 2025, not players balancing multiple outside commitments. That's the balance the organization has to evaluate and judging by their silence. No public statements, no social media acknowledgements of Sophie's announcements. It's clear they're still thinking through their strategy. Now put yourself in Sophie's position. She's 28 years old, which likely means she has 4 or 5 more years of peak basketball ahead of her. After that, the WNBA becomes increasingly driven by younger talent, and veterans often struggle to maintain roster spots unless they are true superstars. Sophie is a strong player, but she isn't a perennial all-star, commanding maximum contracts. So what are her options? The traditional path would be to accept whatever contract the Fever offer, finish out her career and hope media opportunities appear once she retires. That route carries serious risk because the spotlight can disappear quickly once a player leaves the court. The alternative and the path she appears to be to Kinji's to build her media and brand presence now while her name still holds relevance by securing partnerships and broadcasting roles. Today she ensures that basketball becomes only one part of her income rather than the entire foundation. From a strategic standpoint, that's a smart move, and the Fever's front office is undoubtedly watching it unfold. The real question for them is whether they see Sophie's growing platform as a distraction or as an asset. In reality, it's likely the latter. Players expanding their influence helps normalize the idea that WNBA athletes deserve fair compensation through multiple channels, not just their team contracts. Moments from last season already showed how much the league still needs experienced voices. When Caitlin Clark once referred to intense road crowds as the dark side, it became an overanalyzed headline simply because the league's media ecosystem is still developing. Someone like Sophie working within that space can provide context, explain locker room dynamics and bridge the gap between players and fans. That perspective is valuable not just for her brand but for the WNBA as a whole. So where does everything stand now? The Fever still have until February 1st to make a final decision. Meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham is already making hers. She has secured the USA Network opportunity. She has the Sports Illustrated feature lined up for 2026, and she's strengthening her leverage while